Craig, you were there well after he had served as president, and really when he settled into this period of being the guy you saw on T-shirts or appearing at concerts, raising millions of dollars for AIDS research and for other diseases that were ravaging Africa. But you've spent a great amount of time studying the scourge of HIV and AIDS across the continent, and one of the things that most of the writing about him in the last few hours has pointed out is that he was someone who was very slow to acknowledge the epidemic that was ravaging not only his own country but the entire continent.
It's hard to remember back to 1994 when multiracial democracy came to South Africa. It was also the moment that HIV was beginning to explode across the continent. Now we now know that it already had moved into South Africa and most other parts of those parts of the continent, but people were beginning to get sick for the first time. This sense of crisis was beginning to build. But what the South Africans had on their mind was racial reconciliation. What the African National Congress had prepared itself for over years, really in some cases decades, was to rule a new kind of country. They were caught completely off guard by the intensity and the spread of HIV. And Mandela was certainly among those who just didn't see it coming, right? Didn't react quickly to it. There's a lot of people who think just by the very nature of being a man at that point in his 70s, sort of a patrician, part of descended from a royal family, that it was just a very difficult thing to talk about a disease that was mainly transmitted through sexual contact. So, and the country paid a very high price for this, and he paid a very high personal price. His own son died of AIDS while I was there, and and he has, since his presidency, has been very outspoken about the need to take more forceful action to deal with the AIDS epidemic. And it points was very critical of his successor, Thabo Mbeki, who of course was really a much more problematic figure in this story about South Africa not dealing quickly and effectively with the AIDS epidemic.